and welcome to Pod of the Week, a place where I get to share my thoughts on pods I think you need to know about. So the next couple of Pod of the Weeks, I'm going to be talking about a topic that I'm passionate about, and the podcast that I'm going to be referencing or inviting you to listen to is also passionate about, and that is the topic of generosity. So I believe this is a great mindset, puzzle piece builder to build a strong foundational mind frame or mindset, because that will help in life, business, family, and everything. In light of that, I want to invite you to listen to a podcast which I've mentioned already, and it's called The Rule of Life, and it's the Generosity series. Now, I'm a follower of Jesus. I love Jesus, and one of the fundamental pillars in which to follow him is the act of generosity. And this series will help build the foundational framework for generosity. And it's 4 teachings with supplementary testimonies, as well as a roundtable conversation around different aspects of generosity as according to the scriptures. Now, this is, if you're not a believer, if you don't follow Jesus or do not follow the Christian religion, this may seem out there, maybe something that you're not interested in, but I encourage you to listen to it, you're understanding the framework of generosity, because even with the other podcasts that I'll mention later, these themes and these principles are actually embedded in that, and unknowingly so to many. So the cool thing about I love about this podcast is how genuine it is, how real it is, how practical it is. It's not airy-fairy, it's not something which is ethereal, which is a distant concept, but it includes some practices that involve that is required of the listener. If you go to their website, it is a cool website in which there's actually a course which you sign up for, and these teachings are part of that course, and these podcasts are part of the courseware, and then you can actually follow practical steps and practical workbooks and stuff that you need to follow, which supplement this particular podcast series. To give you an example, one of the practices that we need to do is random acts of generosity, because this is to subvert the narrative or subvert our natural instinct for self-preservation. And sometimes we have bad mindsets about money and resources and generosity, which is often birthed in lack. And this podcast seems to want to undo that through understanding, teaching, and practice. So you say, Jason, that's a lot of word soup, that's a lot of words, and I don't know what you're talking about. Well, if you want to know what it sounds like, then have a listen.
Teachings of Jesus.
Yeah.
And his teachings are...
They're go for it. No, he goes straight for it, like goes
Yes.
for the heart. And I think because of that, it's kind of like, with this teaching, I don't think most people feel safe, quote unquote. It's like,
Yes.
Jesus kind of comes for us all. But it's even helpful for me as I've been thinking about this practice to go, Jesus coming at me. And when I feel that, though, it's always for my good, even if it's my discomfort. And so let's talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe frame up this practice? I know it's in 4 parts for generosity.
Yeah.
Give an overview.
Yeah, it was really hard to summarize all that, because Jesus has so much to say about money and generosity. So, there are different estimates, but a number of scholars argue that about 25% of Jesus' teachings are on the subject of money or generosity. One scholar I read put the percentage of 50% to the parables of Jesus.
Oh, okay.
That 50% of Jesus' parables are about money or generosity, or this idea that we'll get into in a conversation or two from now of stewardship.
Okay.
And so clearly for Jesus, this is not like an issue on the periphery. This is a central issue to Christian spirituality and Christian discipleship. So it was really hard to distill down. I greatly benefited from, when I was in the research phase for this practice, I did a number of interviews just over Zoom with generosity experts. Okay. There are these...
How do you become that? That's wild.
Yeah, I know. How do you become that? They all have amazing stories, very countercultural stories. But there are people out there that have given their lives to this particular aspect of Christian spirituality.
That's beautiful.
So toward the end of this podcast season, I'm going to do a few panel discussions. So you can stay tuned for that, where we'll interview some of these people in kind of, roundtable form. But one person I sat down with was Patrick Johnson, who's the founder of a nonprofit called Generous Church. They do really good work about integrating the teachings of Jesus on generosity into local churches and people's lives. And so really good work. He was quite bright. And he said, well, Jesus had so much to say about money. And I kind of feel like if I had to summarize it, it would be these 4 things. And he kind of named 4 aspects of 4 themes of Jesus' teaching. And I really like that kind of framing. So I thought about it for a while. And the 4 we landed on that turned into the 4 sessions of this practice were 3 of these 4 are verbatim quotes from Jesus. So we'll see if you can tell which one is my summary.
Oh, man,
which 3 are verbatim. You've been in the church a long time. I think you have it down. But number 1, there is more joy in giving than receiving. Number 2, watch out for greed. Number 3, everything we have belongs to God. And number 4, be generous to the poor.
So if you're looking for a podcast that would help set your foundation, set the understanding of generosity and the importance of it in your life, then this is the podcast for you. So remember, pods are not for some, they're for everyone.